mysterious.
Welcome to the basement. Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the basement. I'm Nolo.
Jose, what's going on,
And
guys?
today's a special day. We have a special guest.
Willie the Kid.
Ooh, very good. I like that one.
We kept it consistent. We did this is our 15th take. And we kept it consistent. Actually, he was actually a guest on our last episode that I think I'm just gonna put as a podcast.
Like a bonus?
And I apologize for the last 2 episodes that are just podcast. We had some technical difficulties, and we pray to the tech gods that we don't have another one today.
So, we were just talking about something just out of curiosity. You don't read no comic books at all.
I mean, I'm sure. I have read it before, but it's not.
Do you know the lore of
Fantastic Four?
Well, yeah. Okay, so Fantastic Four is coming back in comics. I don't know if you guys care, but they were gone for a few years.
Yeah, they are.
And the reason why they were gone for a few years is because Marvel didn't own the rights to the movies. So Marvel decided to kill them or to disband them and not make them. They didn't have a Fantastic Four comic for years because they didn't own the movie rights. I think Fox owned it. Yeah. So all the Fantastic Four movies you've been seeing, they're not by Marvel.
Or have not been seen.
There you go. So the reason why people are talking so much crap about them is because Marvel's Studios is not making it. It's Fox Studios making it. And they're not...
I don't like how you say Fox.
Fox.
I just don't like it. I don't like
Say it again. Say it again.
Fox.
Oh, you sound like a spick saying that's what it is. Sorry about that, guys.
So, so they haven't been making... but now just recently they got the rights back.
Okay.
Because they bought... Believe it or not, Marvel and Disney have gotten so big, they bought Fox. They bought Fox Entertainment. Ain't that crazy? They were like, we can't buy the idea. You don't want to sell us the intellectual property.
Yeah.
So we'll just buy your whole company. That's gangster.
That's
gangster.
I saw that show that you like with the crazy guy that breaks everything. What's his name?
What?
That show that you like that you were showing me the other few weeks back with the guy who breaks everything and he just brings guests and they don't know.
Oh man, Eric Andre.
Okay, and
you watch that?
I love it.
What?
So
he worships that guy.
Dude,
I don't
that's
worship him. He's funny. He's so funny.
All right, hold on. Let me get to my point before we veer off this guy, your idol.
Sorry.
But there was a meme on him on Reddit where he was WB and he was shooting.
Oh
DC.
yeah, he was shooting. Yeah.
What was did something happen? Because I couldn't read because I was like at work and I can't be.
Oh no, I didn't see that one. No, I didn't see that. Meme.
I don't know if something happened between DC and WB.
I think it's because
the shows that they have.
No, I think it's because of the Deadpool trailer just came out, right?
Okay.
So Cable, I don't know if you know what Cable is.
Yeah.
He's a character from Marvel. Yeah. So he says something or did something to Deadpool, and Deadpool's like, "Oh man, you're so dark. Are you sure you're not from the DC universe?" So they were like, throwing jabs at DC because DC went dark with their universe.
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, if you think about Superman, Batman is happy.
But, not Batman.
Well, even relatively, the universe is...
Well, definitely Batman's the darkest in DC.
That's what I'm saying. Even then, he's still not he's not the Punisher.
Well, Dark Knight was...
dark.
Yeah, but he's not...
in general, it's more like...
But if you look at the comic books, like say the Punisher, for instance, we talk about the Punisher. He will destroy you. There's no... I feel like there's no equivalent like that in DC.
What, like somebody that's like really gritty and raw and
dark? Yeah.
A dark character? You say Punisher's the darkest?
I'm not saying he's the darkest.
I'm not gonna pretend like
he's a good guy.
That much about DC.
Just to show you.
No, he's not. He's like an anti-hero.
He's like an anti-hero, yeah. But you guys don't really read comics and stuff, so it's like...
Yeah, so I'm just like...
Thanks for calling us out on it.
Yeah. So, about Trump. What do you think about Trump? Forget about Trump, because when we talk about Trump, you're talking about moral issues that I don't even want to talk about. To me, seem irrelevant to the issues.
So what, do you like his policies?
I'm just asking you, do you follow his policies at all?
Well, first of all, do you consider yourself left or right?
I don't know in terms of that, because it's like it's not as black and white as just always left and right. It's just some things that just overlap.
Are you registered in any particular party?
No, actually, I think I'm independent.
Okay.
Oh, that's
so I don't
think
know.
I'm registered independent too now. I think about it.
I've always been.
I'm thinking about changing my party too. It's a dance party. Hey, yo, what up?
I don't know.
And the screaming in the mic doesn't stop. I apologize again. The basement.
What do you wait? Sorry, are you changing the conversation?
No. I want to follow up.
No, because I'm wondering, like, what do you guys think of Trump?
Okay, so I'll tell you what I think because I have opinions about
And
it.
again, I apologize for the sound effects he's making because he can't stay still.
I cannot say so. I'm so sorry.
And if something turns off, it's gonna be your fault.
And I'm trying not to be stiff, which is funny.
So I
You're
can't
good.
stop moving, bro. Thank God for these things.
Yeah, that's right, bro.
So anyway, so Trump, it's difficult because morally, I have a hard time with him. Okay, but if we get rid of the morality of it, and I don't even think about that, I just think about the fact that what is he doing? So an example I give would be Syria. I agree with what he did in Syria. Some people, because they're on the left, only because they're on the left and he's on the right, say I don't agree with him, even if it's the right thing, in my opinion. What do you? I mean, I think we talked about the Syria thing, right?
Yeah, we did.
And,
So what are you asking me exactly?
I'm just saying, like
His
US,
policies,
yeah.
like, okay, so I'm not for the whole Syria thing, that response. So we're in different camps in that but I don't think that's just exclusive to just Trump, because Obama's did the same thing, like everywhere, Ukraine and whatever. So it's not just like a Trump problem; it's like an American, United States government problem.
You think we got our fingers in too many?
Yeah, absolutely. I think we do. I mean,
But that, hold on. I'm sorry to cut you off, but in the last episode that we had to cut short, you were using the comparison of the Prime Directive in Star Trek with this situation. So I can't help but think that, like, okay, so we're not the Star Trek. If the Prime Directive was something that the United States models, we wouldn't even get involved. But we have.
Not.
That's a fire truck.
Sure.
That's from last week episode. They always visit
same
us.
one.
You know,
Same one. It'll
Literally
be
the
back.
same one.
I saw the alert go on my phone that it's right up the block. There's like a fire or something.
Oh.
And as soon as I saw it, I was like, it's gonna get loud in here.
So see, I wish the U.S. were. I know it sounds like utopic. Like, oh, can the United States be like the Federation? I wish it were.
Right.
I don't think it's wrong to aspire for that. Even I know it's gonna sound even crazy. Even if it's not possible, you should still aspire to do that, because it goes back to it. I think. Did you see that last episode? That you think like the whole thing with the United States is like that we have like the moral high ground. I have the high ground. Anyways.
Oh yeah.
You were saying that,
yeah.
so sure. Isn't that stance like morally sound, even if you can't really achieve it?
What do you mean?
Like as in like to do as the whole Prime Directive thing. Like, you shouldn't always get or not ever get involved militarily, like just like that, to solve every single problem.
Yeah, of course.
So
That's what I'm saying. Like we should strive for that. That's what I mean.
but I think I don't know if you remember what I was saying before. The thing is with, let's say, the Federation, the universe, whatever goes on in the Delta Quadrant, we could totally ignore it and it would never affect us.
Okay.
But because we live on the same planet as the Romulans, we can't ignore the issue anymore. We have to either, if we can't do
That's
it
fair.
diplomatically, then we have to.
But that's what I mean. Why
militarily.
can't we emphasize the diplomatic aspect and just always go, oh, just send in the Marines?
Because
Send an aircraft
we're
carrier.
trying to talk diplomatically to a monkey throwing poop.
So
You just can't do it.
yeah. So in fairness, the analogy is utopian, right?
Sure.
Noel and I agreed that the Earthlings in the future of this sci-fi series is that they're all liberals, but they're all liberals because of their enlightenment.
Mm-hmm.
And I think
Well, I don't think. Well, you're talking about the Federation?
talking about the Federation.
Well, I think not liberal. I think it's libertarian.
Libertarian, but still, to get there, you have to be enlightened, and we're not. We're a planet
Sure.
divided.
Sure.
Well, believe it or not, libertarian is more right than left.
Right, exactly.
Libertarian is like, you have rights, I have rights.
Rights.
You don't infringe on mine, I don't infringe on yours.
Mm-hmm.
But we agree that these amendments, shall we say, are the foundation of the morals that we set as a standard, despite our views independently. That we agree that these standards are the higher end standards for humankind in its entirety.
Yeah.
Whereas right now we're not. What do I think about Trump? He's a genius.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
And
Every dumb thing he says, everyone is hanging.
Yeah.
on it before and well after
Wait,
he
wait.
leaves
Let me
office.
ask you.
So
a question.
wait, hold on.
No, go ahead.
So I think that getting involved in this situation, bombing these guys, was a no-brainer. Because at the end of the day, we're talking about lives, and we're talking about a leader that's a person that's hurting a mass amount of people that include children. And I think that if you're a liberal, conservative, left, right, I think that in the fundamentals, you have to ask yourself, you're going to really allow this. You have the ability to prevent this from happening. You're going to really allow this from happening again. I think Obama was right for doing it. I think he's right for doing it. What I think is wrong is that we're not following through. If we're going to take the responsibility to intervene and set a moral standard, we should also take responsibility of wiping, cleaning, and restoring. And I don't think that's what has happened. And
you think we should go send troops into Syria?
I think that if we can remove the power at hand and establish some kind of system where the people can rebuild, then not only are we doing the right thing by taking action, but we're being accountable to our action by helping the people and expecting payment.
Well, the thing with the Syria thing is that the Assad, the guy that we bombed, technically is the good guy.
Technically
is the good guy. That's the problem. And as far as jumping in there and cleaning up and establishing whatever, we're still in Iraq, and we still have. And how long has Iraq been?
Because it's done wrong.
Yeah.
Like what, 15 years now? But that's what I mean. It's like it's not always as clear cut as that. Like I do agree. Yeah, you should help out the innocent, the poor, the downtrodden, those people that are oppressed. But at times, the issue is like I'm assuming this is where Roddenberry got the whole Prime Directive thing from. Is that we think we know what's best for the other person, and it ultimately long term ends up being something that's not great. Now that's where the issue is. That's where you can talk about that. You should talk about that. Is that you don't want people to die. Like I don't want children or anybody there to die for whatever reason. So that's where the problem that I see that comes in now is like you do send like troops or whatever to just bomb the country, but what are going to be the long-term ramifications if when what we think it's right for them doesn't really align with their own culture? That's what I was trying to get at. So what I'm getting at, it's not that we necessarily should not do anything, because apathy doesn't solve anything. You should do something, but it's not always as clear cut as just going in and just bombing people left and right. That's what I mean. Does that make any sense?
Right, I do, but
it's not easy.
It's not easy. That's exactly my point. But what I'm saying, regardless if this leader, this dictator, is technically the good guy, technically murder is murder.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Okay, and if we're taking the stance of we will not allow this is wrong, then we also have to take responsibility of the follow up, regardless if
what would you follow up with?
Making sure it doesn't happen again.
Well, I think us bombing them is that. I think us dropping bombs on them and saying, if we see you do it again, we're going to bomb you. And if every time you cross that line, we're going to bomb you.
Whatever it is, but there has to be there has to be a line drawn in the sand, and it hasn't. All we've done is bomb and then walked away.
No, but that's the line. So because we did it before. So last time he used it, we bombed him. This time he crossed the line again, we bombed him. And I think right now we're setting a precedent, not just for him, but everybody that's watching.
Sure. Right, but if it continue happens, we have to then. So what's it's just going to happen again in another few years?
So keep bombing. If I can follow your line of reasoning, is that because we're already in it, we should just finish it?
Yeah.
See, I agree with that. I'm not saying we should just leave.
I feel like that's
what,
because we're basically getting involved in a civil war.
It is already a civil war.
No, it's their civil war. We shouldn't get involved in it.
But that's what I'm getting at.
Because they're crossing a line and killing kids and crossing the what is it, the Geneva Convention or whatever.
So what he's
then
saying,
we need to drop a bomb and say stop.
So then
and every time you do something bad, we're gonna smack you in the back of the head.
What you're basically what he's saying is that we are playing the police, like Star Trek is in the Federation.
Well, whether we like it or not, no matter how people feel about it, America is the world police.
Yeah,
we are the biggest army. We have more aircraft carriers than the whole world combined. Mm-hmm. That's just to show you. And aircraft carriers what wins wars. Because that's a base that we could put anywhere in the world. A military base that there was never one yesterday, we can put one yesterday.
Yeah.
So we are the world police, whether we like it or not. There's no ifs, ands, or buts. Some people don't want that, but that's just what it is. I'd rather us be the world police than anybody else be the world police. I can't even imagine another country.
I don't know. I would listen. Let's do another war and divide. Listen, you guys can't resolve this, so we're gonna put you over here. You're in timeout. This is your land. Don't go over there. Same thing for you guys. Don't go over here.
You're talking about like another North Korea situation?
That's it. You guys stay on each side.
That's hard.
That is hard, yeah.
Because it's like...
I tell you what's harder. Seeing these kids, seeing these people gassed and killed. I tell you what's harder. My tax dollars constantly being spent to send these missiles out to defend in the cause that we're not really ready to commit. But we're willing to police.
And it's not only that, too. The people leaving the country...
I'm sorry.
No,
I mean, come on.
See, but I like
this
your
is where the
opinion because you're
refugees are coming
consistent.
from, too.
Because you're consistent because if you have a view, even if somebody doesn't agree with it, okay, you're consistent on it. We should follow that through and have a discussion about that. That's what generates democracy, right? People discussing things and like generating ideas.
This is what the show's about at the end of the day. But again, what I do was the question. This is what I would do. You guys stay still, live.
Yeah.
You know,
like two kids fighting each other, you put them to the...
Put them to the side.
Yeah.
Stop.
You stay there, you stay there.
Stay here. You agree that this is the line. Don't pass it. That's it. Your children, you're not going to get gassed. You guys are going to prosper on your own. And hopefully someday down the future... Yeah, but you know what?
This is the problem.
You
that
guys
line
come
that you're
together.
drawing, that you're saying we're going to build a warrior, one side is a government, Assad. The other side is ISIS. So you can't really give them land.
We're giving them an opportunity to live.
See, I think we have the same...
Because if I'm the police, I will destroy you. Make no mistake about it.
Yeah, but if you, let's say you do drill and let them have the north or whatever, the south, I can't remember exactly the word, but ISIS runs it. So that's all of a sudden going to be a terrorist breeding ground. So we have to get rid of that. The problem is the guy that's getting rid of it is an a-hole. And he's gas bombing people. Mm-hmm. He's trying to gas ISIS. But there's women and children that is getting involved too. And so then we're smacking him in the back of the head. You can do that.
I see
just
what you're
not
saying.
with those gas bombs.
But you see what I'm saying? We have a mutual enemy with this guy, right? ISIS.
Yeah.
It's a mutual threat to our existence, to neighboring countries' existence. So, if we're not going to remove this person from power, then remove his ability to do such harm. A, and B, remove the ISIS threat. Once and for all. Annihilate them.
ISIS?
Get rid of them.
The same way you're saying, what should we do? Should we send troops in there?
I'm saying bomb. We don't need to. We have too much technology.
Yeah, but right now you're saying bombing them, we're going to hit women and children for sure.
Yeah.
That's what Obama did with the drones.
There's always collateral.
There's always going to be collateral.
So
but I'll tell you what there won't be if we do this. There won't be any more of these threats.
Well, you saw what Obama did with the drones, right?
You won't have these video images
more
of
civilians
children
died.
suffocating.
Obama killed more civilians than terrorists with drones. And nobody blinked an eye. They were like, oh, that's war.
There's an irony to
but
that.
If Trump was to do that...
Because it generates more terrorists.
If Trump was to do that... Yeah, exactly. If Trump was to do that, the whole world would be up in arms.
What,
because it's Trump. Just because it's Trump.
Okay,
if Trump did exactly what... Okay, look at the border wall. Right? Trump sent troops to the border, right? Everybody's like, oh my God, how could he send the military down there? Obama did the same thing in 2012. Nobody said nothing about it.
Yeah.
So if Trump does exactly
I don't agree that nobody said anything about it. It just doesn't receive the coverage that it does now. Because you have this guy who just can't shut up.
Who, Trump?
Yeah, if he just did what do what you gotta do.
It's part of his genius, like you said.
Yeah.
It is because people it's like, I mean, that's how he won the office.
Yeah. Now, is it that he's a genius or is that everybody else is just a drone?
I think it's because everyone is a drone and someone with half a brain figured it out. And he's sitting on the highest seat.
Yeah.
No.
There's an old proverb that goes, in the land of the blind, the one-eyed man is king.
Yeah.
Because everybody's blind.
So he's the one-eyed. Yeah.
It's like...
And it's funny because part of his genius, quote unquote, is the fact that he told Obama, why would you tell the enemy where we're going to attack? Right? But when he went to go bomb Assad, he said, we're going to bomb you. We're going to bomb you in your chemical factories. And everybody was like, oh, you just said that about Obama, blah, blah, blah. But the genius behind it is we know that Russia is there. And we don't want to bomb Russia because then it's World War III. So he give a little like, hey, we're going to bomb you. So Russia could be like, all right, get your people out of here.
So it's always, and as far as I don't know what I was listening to, but it's always the last president was the hero. Oh, yeah. Things were so much better. The last president.
Yeah.
Oh,
right.
the last president.
Mhm.
You think that'll be the case with Crazy Trump?
I think so.
It depends.
I
if he
think
comes
so.
president after.
Only because he keeps. Only if he keeps.
I
he
think
continues saying crazy things. You think so?
That when the next president rolls by, they're gonna say, "Oh, this guy's
Just
his time period."
Everything
was
was so much
better.
better
I
with
think
Trump.
so. I think it's part of human nature to do that. To just say, "Yeah, the past is always better."
I think he's the first president that's not gonna happen.
Really?
You think so? Yeah, I think so too.
I think
You know what's gonna happen? The news ratings are gonna drop.
Well, here's the thing.
Sure.
They're gonna be begging for his crazy comments.
They're gonna be looking for him. What did Trump do?
So he might be right. He might. Oh, the Trump was. We got to hear about Trump with this new guy. And all this.
All right, so here's one.
That makes sense.
Everything the new president does, they're gonna ask Trump. So what do you think about this?
Please say something crazy
Please say
because our
something.
ratings are horrible.
I
CNN.
think Bush Jr. Like every single comedian I remember was making fun of this guy from back then.
Yeah.
When he was leaving office, I think, don't quote me on this, but I think he said that history will vindicate me or it'll prove me right. Everybody back then was saying, well, blah, what are you talking about? I guarantee you, as time passes by, everybody's looking at Bush Jr.'s times like, oh, well, it wasn't that bad.
They do that now.
It wasn't that bad.
You know what's interesting about Bush Jr.? I don't know if I said this on the podcast, but remember he was saying that Iraq has weapons of mass destruction, and then at the end of it, they couldn't find it?
Yeah.
Okay, so later on one of Obama's appointees investigated it, and they said those chemical weapons that were in Iraq, they moved them to Syria.
Who did?
Some appointee from Obama said he
An
investigated.
American official moved it to...
No. They said that Iraq, with chemical weapons, were moved to Syria without America's knowing. So later on, they figured that out, and now Syria's using the same exact chemical weapons that we accuse Iraq of having. So everybody's saying those chemical weapons that we were in Iraq that we attacked them for are in Syria, and now he's using them.
Mm.
So now I don't know exactly if it's true or what, but it was an Obama appointee that investigated and said that.
Let's take
I
it
love how you're
let's
dogging
take it with a pinch of
Obama.
sugar.
It's not that I'm dogging Obama.
It's just facts. Sorry.
No, I'm trying to show that it's not just a left or right thing. It's the right said one thing,
Right.
the left agreed. Yes, he's
That's
right.
why I don't.
But
think
nobody's gonna say that on TV. Or Bush is always gonna be the guy that attacked the country that had no weapons of mass destruction. Meanwhile, somebody did say yes, they did have it. They just moved it out.
Sure.
So the left and right is always gonna be divided, even if they're both right, or if one side's right, one side. There's always gonna be the division. Somebody's gonna choose. Whoever's on the left is gonna say the right is wrong always, and whoever's on the right is gonna say the left is right, wrong always. It's always gonna be that. You're never gonna find a middle ground.
Yeah.
And I feel like Trump made that divide bigger, or more prominent.
I think it's the latter. I think it's always been there. It's just now it's coming to light more clear, especially now with all these individuals creating shows, podcasts. There's more resources. Think about how much resources we have now in our media episode, and think about how much outlets we have to look up facts ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think that what he just brought it out to the table, and now everyone's just like, what are we gonna do? What do we do about this? Where do we stand?
But I think too is a problem too. People don't want to look into it themselves. They just take whatever's fed to them. You know what I'm saying? So whatever Fox tells you, you're automatically gonna be like, that's definitely true. That's definitely fact.
Yeah, people have their preference of what they want to hear now.
Yes. Exactly.
Before it was only one source, TV.
Yeah.
So it was what was fed to you. Like my mother, you don't want to eat it, don't eat it.
Yeah.
Starve, and you bet I ate it.
Yeah.
I was hungry. It's the same thing, but now it's like we have these so many different options that I only want to hear from this source.
Yeah.
This has to be.
You put yourself in an echo chamber.
You lock
and you just
yourself
hear
in.
what you want to hear, and that's it.
Yeah.
What do you think? Or the church, right? So how involved the church, or how much are we not involved with these kind of decisions on either side? Are we, the body of Christ, making enough noise to be heard on what our values are and how things, how we should go about this situation?
No.
Yeah.
And the reason why is because we muzzled. We have a thing over our mouth. Because there's a law, I don't know the name of the law, that says that we're not allowed to support a political person, a party, or an individual. The church is not allowed to, because they could take away their...
the church isn't allowed
501(c)(3)s.
to, but we're the people too.
Well, the thing is, we could talk about it individually, which is fine, but you can't say anything from the pulpit.
No.
Now, what's interesting is this. I used to live very close to Jewish neighborhood. The guy that lived on the first floor of my building was this Jewish kid my age, and he would tell me straight up and down that they will go to the synagogue. Whoever was in charge will go meet with whoever was running for whatever party, and they will say, "Look, our synagogue has 1,000 people. I guarantee you 1,000 votes. And everybody's going to give you $5. That's $5,000. All you got to do is make sure that we have our streets fixed, our stop signs, this and this and this and this." They agree, shake hands. Here goes your 5,000. You got your 1,000 votes come the day of the election, and they win it instantly. There was I think it was on Radio Lab. There was also a podcast that talked about that.
So again, the people can come together and have and the people can come together and have a voice. It should be those of faith. You know, if you should come together and have a voice. It doesn't have to be from the pulpit, because we all have the right, the First Amendment right. And if anything, we should be an example of how a party can unite and actually be a voice to a cause.
Yep.
Yeah.
We should be leading by example in that sense. Thoughts, because we are running out of time.
I was just gonna say really briefly. I agree with what you're saying. Like, we should get rid of that mindset that we have where we split your private life with your public life.
Yeah.
So it's like you can't do that with the gospel. You have to combine both, because there's not only are you talking about salvation in a spiritual sense, but also in a physical sense. Like, you have to help the poor, the sick, the blind, the helpless. It's like you can't separate those two things. So I do agree with that.
And also, you see that a lot within the church, that a lot of church people look at themselves as Democrats, but the Democratic platform is pro-abortion. And they're like, but as a Christian, I don't support that. And it's like, but then why would you support the party that supports that? They're so pro-abortion and you're supporting them. But the side that is anti-abortion, that basically goes along very well with your faith, you don't support. And I don't know, I just feel like the church maybe should separate themselves from both parties and form their own sort of middle ground. We're saying, like, we're for the people, but we have strong values. Mm-hmm. You know? Mm-hmm. I don't know. Mm-hmm.
Well, the question is, what do you guys think? Wilson, again, thanks for stopping by. We did a 2-part series. We'll obviously have you again, if you don't mind coming by the smelly basement.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff we got to talk about.
Yeah, we could definitely follow up with a lot more. So check us out. Leave your comments on what you think. And again, if you guys want to hit us up, be part of the show, fill out the form online, thebasementny.com. That's it. We out of here.
Yep. Peace.
Peace.